Hello class! Today we are going to have a special lesson on DC Universe Classics, Wave number 7, Figure number 5, Big Barda. And we're going to look at it in the package first. So there she is. And you can see up in the corner there a little bit. There's a picture of her. We've got Flash over there and Captain Cold, and we've got all the necessary warnings and stuff like that, and I've gone over that kind of stuff many times, so we won't do that again. If we look here on the side, we can see, there we go, Wave 7, it comes with the left arm of our Collect and Connect figure. And if we look at the back, we can see who that's going to be. But otherwise, we've got Ocean Warrior Aquaman, Kid Flash, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Big Barda, Captain Cold, and of course the Flash, who comes with a figure stand, which is lame. And we can put all these dudes together to build Atom Smasher. So we're going to get the, what was it, left arm? Yep, the left arm of Atom Smasher, so we can put him together, which is going to be excellent. And for a quick biography on Big Barda, born on the evil, warlike planet Apocalypse, Barda was specially trained in all forms of combat by Granny Goodness. Who is always voiced in the cartoon, seems to be always voiced by a dude. Not sure what's up with that. However, she fell in love with Scott Free, a child of peaceful New Genesis raised on Apocalypse, and used her warrior skills to help him escape to Earth. Barda accompanied Scott, and they married after he assumed the name of Mr. Miracle, world's greatest escape artist. Since then, she has fought evil alongside her husband, both of them serving in the Justice League of America. She shows up, but she's not part of the Justice League in the cartoon, but she was part of the Justice League in Batman Beyond, as I recall, at least in the cartoon. So, that's where I've seen her before, and I think there was that newer Batman Superman movie, Apocalypse, she was in that too. Anyways, some statistics. Her first appearance was Mr. Miracle, first series, #1 in 1971. Her real name is Barda Free. Her occupation is Freedom Fighter, her base of operations is New Genesis, and her special abilities include Enhanced Strength and Stamina, Mastery of Hand-to-Hand Combat, Mega Rod serves as Club. That, oh my goodness, Mega Rod. You realize I'm going to have some bad jokes about that once we start looking at the figure. Sorry, serves as a club, Energy Blaster, and Temporary Jet Propulsion System. That also sounds bad. But anyways, there we go. Now, just before we cut for a second, and I have to rant about this a little bit. Her name, and it's listed here, is Big Barda. Now, during my many years walking this planet, I have met, you know, a few women here and there, and not one have I ever met would want the name Big put in front of their name. And if you don't believe me, if you're a dude, go try this. Go up to any woman you know and put Big in front of her name. Say, hey, Big whatever, and see what happens. Ugh. First of all, you're probably going to get punched in the teeth. Second of all, you're probably going to get kicked in the balls. So why is it that we decided to call this character Big Barda? I understand, she's supposed to be like 7'6" or something. She's really tall and she's really strong, so, you know, big, I get that. But not something that chicks like to have put in front of their name. So, at any rate, we're going to open up the packaging and we will have a closer look at Big Barda. Back in a second. So, here we are. We have Doug Barda out of the packaging, or Big Barda, because all chicks like to have the word big put in front of their names. And I almost had a problem with that back in university. I nearly, yeah, it wouldn't have been good. It would have been bad. She would have, you know what, I can't even make the joke about what she would have done to me, because that would also get me in trouble as well. Anyways, don't put the word big in front of a woman's name. It will just lead to badness. So, whoa, we can look at Barda here, and I'll just give you a quick 360 of the figure. Whoa, red cape. Awesome. Now, in terms of the mold, I think it probably is what we should talk about first. I have to say I'm pretty impressed with it. We have the scales for her armor, which is all, like, it has texture. It's been sculpted on, which is nice. On her arms and her middle torso here, and of course her legs. Her armor looks pretty good. And even the hair, if we can focus on that a little bit, somebody has spent the time to actually carve it, or I don't know what the right word would be, but actually put it into the sculpt, which is nice. And her face sculpt is pretty good. I hate to say it, it kind of reminds me of a Barbie doll. More so than a number of the others. I'm not sure why, but Now, before I go too much further with this figure, there's one thing I have to point out. The fact that we have all this hair. And if I can grab the packaging, which I butchered a few minutes ago, we can see, if I adjust the camera a little bit, and if it'll focus, it looks like, I tried to turn the thing so you could see a different perspective. Barda there is wearing a helmet. And I believe her main character design, when you see her in a lot of the animated stuff, she's got the big, ugly helmet. And to be quite honest with you, I think that helmet is absolutely stupid. I just can't really stand it. So, when it came to getting this figure, I had an option. I could get the one with the helmet or the one sans helmet. And so I picked the one without the helmet because, again, I think the helmet is stupid. Actually, I had the option to get both of them. And I can't really figure out why I would need two big Barda figures, and I can't figure out why I would need two identical pieces of Atom Smasher. So I decided to just get one, and I picked this one because I like it better. That's really all it boils down to. So, what else I want to talk about here? The color scheme for this character, I mean, it's pretty much what I would expect from what I've seen in the animated series, except I think she looked different on Batman Beyond. And I don't know what the story is with that. But it is more or less what I expect. So we've got the blue, and the blue is painted on. I'm not sure which is the actual regular color. I think the plastic color is the boots down here, and then they've painted over top of it for the scales on her armor, which doesn't look too bad, and it does kind of have a weathered look, which I think is nice. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but you figure she's seen a lot of battles, and her armor has probably seen a lot of battles as well. So again, that's also nice. I do like that. The gold for her extra armor and her armband and leg bands is okay. Same with her little tiara there up top. That seems pretty good. And we got these bright red spots. Now, I'm a person who doesn't need more than two primary colors. So the extra red and the fact that her cape, which again is just one, you know, solid piece of plastic, is this bright red, I don't think we really need. I would have liked it better if it was the gold color. But that's just me. But you know what, that's still pretty good. In terms of her articulation, it's going to be more or less like your standard DCU figure. And we can rotate the head around, and it can move up and down a little bit. The shoulders are going to go all the way around. Whoa, when they're not impeded by the hair. There we go. We can move them up and down. We can rotate the arm at the bicep. We can move the elbow here. And then we, of course, can rotate the hand at the wrist. She's got that extra piece of articulation that I guess a lot of figures have nowadays in the torso there, so she can look down or she can look up a little bit. We can rotate the waist all the way around, which we shouldn't do. For even more so than the male figures, it looks horrible to turn them at the waist. Like, you turn her halfway if you wanted to, and it looks like she could rest a beer on her hips there. Like, it just looks just wretched. There's just no reason to do that, so I think we're just going to have to leave that facing forward. You can adjust maybe a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. Now, the legs aren't going to have as much articulation as other DCUC female figures because she's got this, I don't know what the hell to call this thing, this piece on her waist. But anyways, it does restrict the movement of her legs a fair bit. We can move them a little bit, but not too much. The thighs will still rotate. We can bend at the knee, and of course, you can bend at the ankle as well. Not too bad, so I would say it's pretty much just about standard for a DC Universe female figure. But the one thing I do need to point out is that she is called Big Barda, so we would expect her to be larger than other females, I guess. Because that's, you know, I guess part of who she is. So we'll grab Harley Quinn from the Wife's Harley Quinn collection. And if we try to stand the two figures side by side, we can see that Barda is actually larger. We can see here the calf is a bigger piece, and same with the thigh. I'd say she's even bigger around the waist, maybe not by a whole lot. But again, her arms, another place where it's really noticeable, her arms are going to be thicker than the ones on Harley Quinn. And her head is larger as well. And she does stand a little bit taller. Now, I would think she should stand actually a fair bit taller than Harley Quinn. But, you know, obviously all the figures are to a certain scale or a certain size. So that's not always going to be the case. In terms of, I think Barda should actually be considerably larger than Harley, but that's okay. One thing that's nice about this figure, unlike a lot of the female characters in DCU classics, her joints don't seem like they're toothpicks. Like, you know, she's a little bit pear-shaped, but again, it's not like her arms are really, really tiny, which is annoying. I like the fact that she's Big Barda and she's got some extra weight on her, and that's nice. Now, in terms of accessories, she only has one. I'm sorry, I'm talking like a total person who can't speak English today. She has this thing. It's her Mega Rod. I'm sure there are other women out there that have Mega Rods. This thing is apparently supposed to be straight, but you notice it's a little crooked near the top, which is kind of bad. It's got a bulbous end up here, and it's ribbed for, well, somebody's pleasure. Now, I'm trying really, really hard to not make obvious bad jokes, even though I really, really want to. And I can because I know the evil wife won't get upset at me about it because she makes just about as many as I do. But this Mega Rod, which, whoops, looks like a phallic symbol. It just really does. And I don't know if it's because she's a female who has it, or if a male character had something similar, I would be making the same jokes. Well, no, I'd be making worse jokes, actually. But it does. It just... And it's nothing to do necessarily with the character or the figure itself. It's probably just in the design, because I imagine somebody tried to make it look like something they saw in the comics. But it just has to make you wonder, like, couldn't have they made it look more like a mace or I don't know, a sword? Who cares? It just looks like she's running around with a female toy. We'll just leave it at that. That she's beating people up with. And apparently you could do that in Grand Theft Auto. Which makes me want to go play some Grand Theft Auto so I can beat the crap out of people with toys that are designed for female pleasure. Anyways. Okay, I gotta stop. I just want to keep making bad jokes, so I gotta stop. So, this figure, besides, you know, wanting a Big Barda figure, why else would you get it? Well, we're gonna get this figure for a piece of Atom Smasher. And here we've got the left arm, which is awesome. And again, just to give you a rough idea of how big Atom Smasher is going to be, I mean, the arm is half the size of her, which is nice. And of course, we'll look at this a little bit more once we assemble Atom Smasher, which we're not going to do quite yet. But there we have it. We have Barda. Now, if I was going to grade this figure, I mean, Barda is not one of my favorite characters. I have a rough idea of who she is. But you know what? The figure is not bad. I have an easier time standing it up than a lot of the female characters. She has more character than a lot of them, and it's just because of the way she looks and the hair. The sculpt is really good. The color is pretty good. This thing notwithstanding, you know, I don't know. Even my buddies like to make dirty jokes about that one, but then I guess that's just really talks about the kind of people I hang around with. But if I were to grade this figure, you know, it's pretty good. I would give it a B+. It's not up there with my favorites because I have no real love for the character. But it is a decent figure, and again, I believe this one is the variant, which I like better because I think the helmet is stupid. But there you go, B+ for Big Barda. So I believe that is going to be our lesson. Thank you very much. Class is dismissed.